Okay, hi. I wanted to make a video about okay, first of all, check out my channel, with the titles, belonging and all those kinds of types of videos because I've already talked about it. My perspective on it. So, I wanted to make a video talking about Teal Swan. She made the video about allegations against her. She answers questions about it. And a lot of the video I agree with. For one thing, I'm a reflector too. People love me or hate me, see what's in them when they're around me. And also, as a person that can, well, that has psychic abilities like Teal Swan. I don't remember exactly what all she says is about her, but I am clairsentience and claircognizance, which means clear feeling and clear knowing. I've had clairvoyance happen a few times here and there, but it's not completely strong. The ones that I said I am is 1000% strong. So I get a lot of what she's saying in that video and I agree with it. And that's what I make my videos about. So anytime you're gonna, put yourself in the public, you're gonna get hate comments, from someone or another, or misunderstandings and so forth. It's just what happens when you put yourself in the public, you know. And especially with law of attraction kind of a way of looking at it, that's a little bit of what she was talking about. Some and what I talk about. Some, in my videos, not every single video is about that, but anyway. I I don't have any hate group against any certain person, including her, because I think that little snippet of her video that I don't agree with, I think whenever, somewhere in the middle or something, it's what part of my title is her title, she answers questions against her, or the allegations against her, something like that. And I don't think there's any other video titled that. So if you put in her name and allegations against her, it'll come up. But the little snippet where she calls people fans, that pissed me off because that goes against what she teaches. She's not famous, she's quasi famous. That's a bunch of shit to call yourself famous when you're quasi famous. I mean, there's celebrities famous, quasi famous, or none at all. If you put yourself in the public, you're quasi famous. If enough people know of you, like enough people know of me that I'm quasi famous. A lot more people know of me than are following me on social media. So she's not famous because of, her followers on Twitter or something or whatever. Those apps are, there's spam in the way the apps run. So the followers, some of them aren't even real followers, and so forth. So that isn't what makes you famous. What makes you famous is how many people actually know of you. So, like I said, a lot more people know of me than are following me on social media. Like a lot more, especially a lot of famous people are, or causes famous. I don't know if she knows of me, but I've certainly called her out on social media a little bit at her name. So there's a chance she knows of me, probably, because astrologically, You probably do because my ascendant sign is Leo. That's the famous, celebrity of the you know, zodiac sign. So a lot of people know of me just because of that. It's just what happens. It doesn't make you famous, it makes you cause you famous. So the little snippet in the middle of the video, right before she calls people fans and then says they're fans, that really pissed me off. So the whole belonging thing, I disagree with her about. I don't disagree with her about a lot of stuff. There are a few topics here and there, but a lot of stuff I agree with her about, and I am the same way as her, even though she has more followers than I do. So the belonging thing, I think we all belong with each other. In other of her videos, she talks about you didn't belong with people if they were whatever she said. I don't agree with it because that's getting into the subject of excuses and where do you actually belong then, and it just makes them, you know, spiral kind of depression kind of, thing happening. If you promote that you do belong here and not there and whatever, we all belong with each other. And you can check out my videos if you want about that topic, because this isn't really about that, but just a little bit of it is, because the little snippet in the middle of the video that I actually disagree with, people antagonize her because of whatever. So let's see. My title, the reflector thing, first of all. So she says she is a reflector. I say that about myself. I get strong reactions from people. But we also, in the career fields that we're in the same one. And I'm doing other things with my career that is unrelated to this part of my career, but so we're reflectors and we're the same. And about the word expert, we call ourselves expert in the same field, which we both are. I have nothing against her saying she's an expert or as someone else, because I agree with it. I think you should own what you're an expert in. I think each person on this planet can be an expert in something or another, and that in that specific that field or career, whatever, if you are unequal to me and I'm unequal to you about mine and yours, if you're an expert in something and I'm not, that makes us unequal in that way. But she said that doesn't make you unequal as a whole person, or however she worded it, which is something I agree with. But then, and the authenticity thing, I think she's good at doing. That's great. That's going to get you hate comments. And I agree with doing that. I get hate comments because I'm authentic in my life, my career, and in my being in the public. I get plenty of it. And I'm fine with that because I own what I say and do, and I don't hide the bad stuff about me, the bad stuff. I don't like saying bad or good because then it just, it's a whole nother subject, which is in my YouTube videos. But anyway, so I agree with being authentic. And so if I want to say, the word fuck or hell or shit or, whatever, that's what I do. Or, something pisses me off about this or that or the other thing, that's what I do in public. Because I think being authentic is, important. I think that's a great way for her to live, and it's the way I live. I think it's something to be proud of, like in a healthy way, not in an asshole way. But I think it's fine to like that about yourself or say that is how you are. So, that's something I agree with too. I agree with a lot of what she says. Not every word, but I agree with a lot of it. So the thing is that I'm an expert too, and she says if you are, she'll get to know that about you. So, that's great. That's wonderful that she does that. I agree with it. But the thing is, if you are following her on social media, which I'm not doing, I'm not really watching her videos much more lately, or especially not getting on her social medias all the time. I have, but I don't much. And I'm not following her with the follow button on any social medias because I don't want to be a fan of hers. I don't want to be in any hate group or a fan of hers. I don't want to do either side because I own me, and me being an expert, which, you know, is what she says she is. We're in the same field. We're both experts. And because I have less followers, I'm not going to get treated like that. I'm going to get treated like what she calls people fans. And that pisses me off because if you're an expert in the field that she's an expert in, which I am, and you own that about yourself and you're authentic and you're in agreement about that subject too, which we are, whether she knows it or not, and I happen to be known by her, be known of by her, she's gonna call me a fan. Is that what, I mean, is that what she does? Like, that's not right. You don't call people fan. I mean, if they call themselves a fan of yours, fine, whatever. You can call a group of people your fans if you want to be an asshole like that, because I've been a hypocrite and do that too. So we all can, whatever, because we're all hypocrites and deserve to be authentic in front of people, which would be being hypocrites and assholes, because we all are. That's fine to do in public, which is going to get you hate, but that's all right. I can deal with that. But the thing is that I'm owning what I'm doing and saying whatever else, and she says she does too. But so the thing is that if an expert shows up to which I never have, her, whatever, workshops or whatever, if she happens to not know of me for some reason or forget about me or whatever the case is, or if she did remember me and I showed up at one of her workshops, which I will never do, but if I did, for an example, if I'm in the crowd, then I'm going to be called a fan and not an expert. I mean, like, how do you know? You have no right to say that to people, because fan and expert is like not the same thing. It's like kind of the opposite meaning. Because she says she's an expert and people that show up wanting to learn from her are not the experts. So maybe that could be true, because it can be. It is sometimes. But the thing is, you don't know unless you get to know people, which she kind of talked about. But the thing is that she's being a hypocrite in the video then, because I'm an expert in the same field that she's an expert in. And I have plenty of videos on YouTube to prove it, because of how I interact with clients. That it's not the authentic, like, you're pissing me off right now, but the authentic, like, just being myself in front of people. I'm not unprofessional like that with clients. I would never be. But on YouTube, I will be authentic in that way also. But if I want to say, something pisses me off, or what the hell, whatever, in front of clients, I will do that. You know, not cussing at them, but just being authentic in front of them. Being like, we're both adults. So, because I'd never have a child client. So, we're all adults. So, let's be, and authentic in front of each other. But I'm not unprofessional at my clients, though. So, anyway. And she's plenty authentic in front of her clients too, but there's some ego crap going on, and we all have that, which is fine, because that's authentic too. But the thing is that you don't label a group of people fans and then expect not to have comments like I'm making. If you want to do that, fine, whatever. Or if I want to be a hypocrite like that, then I will, whatever. I don't care. Have an ego if you want. That's fine. But the thing is, own it then. And if someone calls you out, hear them out and either care or don't care. Either, you know, accept the criticism and deal with it properly and do something good with it or be an asshole about it. Either way, I don't care what you do, but you should own it then if someone calls you out, or be authentic and say that you're a hypocrite and whatever, blah, 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 Just own it somehow. But that's the part where I don't like about her. She doesn't seem to own that part of it. She just goes on her merry way with saying stuff about belonging, which I don't agree with, but I think we all belong with each other. Need to get over that subject of saying we belong here, not there, and stuff. But anyway, like I said, that's on my YouTube channel already. So, besides that whole belonging snippet of the asshole fan labeling crap, I agree with her a lot about what she says, and I'm the same way. That's the thing that I wanted to talk about more. Like I said, I'm equal to her, and we're both reflectors and get crap for it, which I have compassion for her and everyone else about. Not belittling crap for her about that. I actually just have real love and understanding about it because I get it. This is not a hate video against her. This is not for me to be in any group that is against her because I'm not. That pisses me off and it's a bunch of excuses. I'm in no group against her or with her. I'm on my own, being lonely over here, owning myself. I don't belong with her. And if I did follow her, she'd just call me a fan, which is not cool. You have no right to call someone that is equal to you a fan, without knowing whether they are or not, because you're supposed to own who you are and what you're an expert at. Like I said, that expert subject she talks about, and I agree with it, because that like really bothers people, especially in this field that we're in. You're not supposed to call yourself an expert in this field, and I do, because I am, and I own that, and I will own that in front of anyone on this planet. You can give me hate or love or whatever else you want to about anything I say in my career. That's fine. I can deal with it. Because I'm not here to have flowery, butterfly comments from you about what I say. I don't care what you say, whatever. But if you're going to put yourself in a hate group against me, I'm not going to call you a fan of mine or you used to be a fan of mine. That's an asshole thing to do. And I think people doing that's just really an ego asshole thing to do, and people should stop it. Like I said, if you want to be a hypocrite and own that you call your followers, fans, whatever, but like own it and, you know, own your ego and say that's an ego or whatever, But, or if you have an actual group of people that say they're not an expert in the field that you're in and they call themselves a fan of yours, I think that's fair enough to call them fans if they're going to call themselves fans, even though I think it's still an asshole thing to do, but I have an ego. Your ascendant sign in astrology rules your whole astrology birth chart. So the ego and famous rules my whole astrology birth chart because it's Leo. So that's fine. But my your sun sign's your ego and your identity. So mine's Aquarius, which is the opposite of Leo, which is we're all equal. So I come across as two-faced because opposition aspects in astrology make you look two-faced. That's okay. I do not give a crap if you say that or don't say it. I say it. So I don't care. Like, if you're gonna give me a hate or love comment, I don't care. I already know that, it doesn't bother me to be honest about it. But it seems to bother her to be honest about the fact that that's an asshole thing to do. Call people fans, your spiritual followers, fans. What the hell? I mean, seriously, if you want to be a hypocrite and do that, fine, but own it, you know? And don't talk about them belonging or not belonging with you in the way that she does, because that in itself is a confusing subject that she brought up. The little snippet in the middle of the video that I actually do like most of all, or mostly, I mean. So, it's like, I mean, if you don't feel belonging with her, whatever she said, it's like, what? It's like, that's just a confusing subject, and like, if you put that out there, someone or another is going to give you hate or a proper one or the other or both, hate or what I'm doing, a proper criticism in a authentic way, not a hate or a fan or used to be fan kind of way, because I'm none of that. I don't agree with it about anyone. I only am no one's fan, and I'm in no one's hate groups at all, ever. I will not ever be. I give people proper critical comments in an authentic way because I'm an expert in the field that I'm in, not as a I hate you or I'm a fan of you kind of a way. I'm in no group of anyone's on this planet of either hate or fan. I own me too much to be in either groups of anyone's. If I want to follow you on social media and like your career and blah blah blah, then whatever. That's what I'm gonna do. But I'm in no one's hate groups or fan groups. Like, I'm an individual person that owns myself and whatever I happen to be an expert in any this subject or that subject or something else. Not that I am in every subject on this planet, obviously. So anyway, but I just think I could make more of a video about each word she said, or each sentence rather, and critique it more. But it'll take too long, which I'm an expert at. My Mercury is in Capricorn in the sixth house, which is the Virgo house, which is an earth sign also. Capricorn and Virgo are. So I am an expert in the whole arguing thing, like being a lawyer thing. Not that I'm a lawyer, but that's one placement for being able to be good at being a lawyer. So, I'm good at the whole arguing, logic, you know, winning debates kind of subjects. So I could do this more, but I don't feel like it because it's a confusing subject. She just contradicts herself too much in that little snippet of the video. You know, I think it's just really an asshole thing to do because, which we all do that sometimes, which is fine and that's authentic and that's supposed to be. You're allowed to do that and own that, which she does. I do. Plenty of people on this planet do. But I just really, that bothers me. So I wanted to, just make a little bit of a video about it, but not like I'm going to talk about it more because I don't have time for it. I just wanted to bring the subject to attention, to your attention, whoever follows her or me, what I think of it, and that, it's like, just a hypocritical thing to do. It's confusing. It's like, I don't know what all she thinks then. Like, I mean, like, how much of an ego does she have about it? Like, does she think they don't belong with her if they don't call themselves a fan of her or what? Like, I don't know. I don't care. But what I've said in this video so far is basically all I'll say about her. It's just that, sorry, I'm equal to her in this field. So, you don't have the right to tell someone that they're not an expert in the field that they're an expert in. If you want to have a debate about it, fine, whatever. But if the person owns that they are and you see that they are, or if you want to be an asshole and not see it, if they are, then, whatever. But each person has the right to own that they're an expert in whatever they're an expert in, and if you want to be honest that you're not in some fields, that's good to do, which I do, and she does, but, it's just really not cool to call people fans because I'm automatically going to get put in that fan group. I can see that happening. It's like, no, I'm not your fan. I'm equal to you. Thank you. I really am. I'm an expert too in this field, You don't get to call an expert fan of yours. That's not cool, So people need to keep that in mind when they're being assholes and hypocrites and calling people fans, which, like I already said, I've done before, so I own that, You don't need to tell me that I'm a hypocrite, because I know I am, because I'm a person. Every person on this planet is a hypocrite and an asshole sometimes. So, anyway, but she and everyone else and me and everyone needs to keep in mind that each person's allowed to own themselves and what they're an expert in, or whatever, so if you uh, not calling people fan, there's no requirements of being able to or not, or that you shouldn't, whether you're an expert or not, it doesn't make you a fan. What makes you a fan is if you own yourself and respect yourself and have enough of a big mouth like I do to own yourself in the public and not care if you get hate for it, which, like I said, for my scandalous magazine, I get plenty of hate. But the thing is, unconditional love, and my videos I just made recently on loving abusive people is something to keep in mind, because everyone on this planet is abusive, emotionally or verbally at least, because of the fact that whenever you're being mean to someone, that's abuse. It doesn't mean that you're gonna be some drunk hitting people kind of a person. That's not abuse. That's extreme abuse. But in astrology, synastry, or composite charts, whenever you have Pluto, which is inner demons issues, and you, or jealousy, or whatever, all those kinds of inner demon kind of things, that's Pluto. Whenever you have Pluto synastry with people, you're probably both the same. So don't tell the other person they're being abusive, because you're probably both being that way, verbally or emotionally, No one has the right to say that I'm the victim and you're the abuser, because you're probably both being both ways, Can be. It goes both ways. It doesn't just go one. So, and about like forgiveness, for an example, like if you tell someone to forgive you now and they're not ready to heal, that's emotional or verbal abuse or those kinds of things, Don't be authentic. That's abuse. That's verbal or emotional abuse. I think everybody on this planet is supposed to be authentic and be an asshole in front of people, not just be all flowery and unperfect in front of people, because that's not authentic. That's not loving towards yourself. If someone tells you to hide yourself, that's abuse, and people shouldn't hide themselves. People should feel like they can be their whole self, all the good and the bad in front of everyone. So, like I said, there's a lot of stuff that I agree with, that I promote, that I teach, that I, you know, in my business coaching part of my career, that I tell clients, not just, it's, whatever, the business consulting and the business coach part of it, it's all kind of wrapped up in one. And the astrology that I do is part of it too. So that's what I tell clients, to be authentic, you know. So she's supposed to be, but the thing is that whenever you put yourself in the public, you can get comments from people, whether you like it or not. And I don't know what else she thinks about it, but I think it's dangerous to call people fans that are equal to you, that are an expert in the field that you're an expert in, because I don't know what that does to your mind, your ego, your psychological ego, not your sun sign, because that's the zodiac sign. And anyway, that's a whole nother subject. But the ego kind of, the psychological kind of spiritual ego that we all have, besides the sun sign, I don't know what all that does to you, to your ego, your mind, if you're calling people that are an expert in the same field that you're an expert in, you know, fan is like, that's not cool. That's dangerous to be an asshole like that. I hope people don't actually believe their words if they're calling another expert fan. That's very dangerous to get into that subject of, you know, thinking that they're actually a fan and that you're actually famous. Like when you're quasi famous. I mean, thousands of followers on Twitter doesn't make you famous. The number of people that actually know of you and how much hate you get, how much of your law of attraction stuff you get back or give or whatever. I mean, I like to just call something what is law of attraction. They're not saying you're being an asshole, so you're going to get asshole crap. But I like to make it more of a logical, you know, not being a petting asshole or whatever. But that whole subject of whenever you're a celebrity, that's law of attraction, like overload. Like, that's what makes people celebrities, you know, the amount of shit they get, like, you know, not like, and the amount of people that know of them, but like, if you're quasi famous, you don't get all that shit, you get a little bit, but like her and me do, but which, like, I think she said different times she can handle it, and I can, you know, whatever. It's perfectly fine. I do not care if I get hate comments. It doesn't bother me like it does some celebrities that don't understand this subject that we're experts in, you know. So it's just like I was saying, it's a dangerous thing to call another expert fan because, like, what all do you believe then? Like, I'm not a damn fan, and you're not my fan. We're equal, you know, we're experts in the field that we're in, the same field that we're in, you know. It's like, really, you know, you need to keep that in mind next time you call people fans. Which she did a Q&A kind of a video. The title had the word fan in it, and then she proceeded to not call people fans in it because it looked like she knew she was having an ego. It's like, you know, yeah, that's an ego, calling people fan, you know. So I don't want to get into the, you know, whole calling people fan thing too much and be that much of a hypocrite, you know, and get that much hate for that because that for sure is going to get you hate from some people because why the hell wouldn't it? Gets you, you know, these kind of comments from me. So I don't want to be that much of a hypocrite, but I know I am because I'm an honest, authentic person, and especially, like I said, an expert in the field that I am in. So I know I'm a hypocrite, but every person on this planet is, and that's all right. But that's why we all need each other and to belong with each other. We all belong with each other because we all need to be there for each other and call each other out when we need to be, you know, not let each other alone and use excuses not to relate to each other because that's not cool. So I hope she gets over her attitude about that and straightens it all out because it's confusing. I don't know what all she thinks then, if that's what she calls people, because that's not spiritually healed to call people fan. That's spiritually unhealed to have that much of an ego at people, you know? So, anyway, yeah, I'm gonna make another video or two about these kinds of subjects that I haven't covered very much, like on hate comments, because there's a lot of, I don't know, either misconceptions, not understanding what is what really from some people, or just being an asshole, or I'm not sure what all goes on with people's minds about the subject, but opinions and hate comments and all those kinds of things, or, points of views, or, you know, how much you're an expert or not in the spiritual field or whatever, there's all sorts of things that go into hate comment videos on YouTube. So I want to make a proper video about explain what is an opinion and what is a hate comment and all those kinds of things. So, because people, need to understand that and need to let people be authentic and own their opinions and not say it's all hate, because it's not. And that's the thing too, promoting that people hate you. That's dangerous, I hope she stops that. There was a little bit of promoting that people hate her in her video. The same title I'm talking about, this one video that I'm talking about, but because spiritual experts like her and other people should know better. Because, for one thing, I think if you're hating someone else, it's in you already, so you're hating yourself first of all. So we don't need to be, conceited and make that about us, because that's just too egoish to say someone's hating me because they hate themselves. You need to let them own themselves, own their own stuff, the roots of their own hurts and everything, and sort that all out in their own life and not make it about you. But whenever you're actually getting hate comments, there's a fine line between whether it's hating yourself or hating someone else, or hate comments, or actual authentic opinions, or all that stuff. And I think she should know better a little bit more than to do the little bit of promoting that people hate her, you know like in that little snippet. Like I said, it's a little bit too much of promoting that people hate her going on and having fans. I think it's a little bit too dangerous to be promoting that as a spiritual teacher, that people hate you and there's groups of people and whatever, because I think that takes the spiritual stuff out of it. It's like being authentic, being bad and good, all that is spiritual. But seriously, though, it's like, why do we have to say people hate us? Like, if we're spiritual leaders, it's like, be more understanding and loving than that, and let people own their own roots of hurts and stuff, and not just make it about you. Like, in a nonchalant, you're my fan kind of way, or you used to be. There's genuine people are hating me comments that she gets and that I get, but there's a root to it half the time or most of the time, and it's not about her and me. Because we're all the same. We're not different from who follows us, or, whatever, or clients or whoever, or people that hate us. We're all the same. So I think most for video I love and I agree with, and I'm the same way and teach the same things and all that. And like I said, I'm definitely a reflector for people too, and it goes the other way around. You are for me too, mirrors. It's not that just her and me have reflector abilities and no one else can be that for us, because we both have our own shit that we need to heal and be not so much assholes about, but there is such a thing, and I get the same amount of crap, the same kinds of crap that she gets, and I get it, but we're strong enough that we can own it and understand it, so, whatever, that's fine, but like she said, I say too, I've already said, it is really kind of a curse more than a blessing, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. I just seriously would never. I'm glad have my life, my psychic abilities and whatever, but it really does suck most of the time. I do hate it a lot of times. It's not that I can't handle it. It's just n- seeing everything or knowing everything, not being an expert in every field, but just being the expert in the field that I am in because of psychic abilities also. It does really suck to feel everything around you, notice everything and whatever, and have these abilities, and you know crap does come along with doing this, being in the public. It's not all it's cracked up to be. So there are good parts of it and bad parts of it. Mostly it's annoying, but I own what I do and say in the public, and that's fine, whatever responses I get about anything, whatever. And I'm here to understand people, not just be an asshole to people and, sit on my throne, because that's not what this career is about. So, I don't call my spiritual, you know, or astrology or business coach or business consulting type fans. That's not cool. You're my clients, and that's it. We're not friends because I want to keep it professional, but not that I'm going to be unfriendly or unprofessional, but there's a line that needs to be drawn. If you want to be friends with me, don't be my client. I'm great with being friends with people, but not clients. I need to keep it professional. So, like I said, in the professional way, I'm not going to call you fans either if you're my clients, because that's an asshole thing to do. You know, there's no need for that. So, about the business coaching part of it, if you want to be my fan about my book in her mind, or my play in her mind, the same thing. My acting, stage play career, all that stuff. I don't care. And if you want to call me uh, call yourself a fan of mine in that way, you can, or about that subject, or the violin, or being on stage like that. Once I get all that going, that's great. I don't care, and I'll probably accept that and do the same. And maybe people would think I was a hypocrite about that, but I don't care. You know, I need to be authentic and be real and be imperfect and be all that I am, not just my sun's sign. Be my sun's sign too. So, you know, but as for the first part of it, the astrology, spiritual business coaching, and consulting career, that's not a Sam thing. That's just about people relating to each other, and so the fan stuff needs to be left for the acting, stage play stuff, whatever. Because that's a whole different subject, and that's not what this video is about. So anyway, this video is just basically to say what I've already said. So watch the whole thing, because it's not cool to just take snippets of what I'm saying and just leave the rest, or just do something different from what I said with it. And I'm not doing that to her, obviously. So, just leave it like it is, what I've said. Don't turn it into something that it isn't. Because if you actually did that to me, I'll call you out on it. And, if I'm actually doing something or saying something that, I hate saying calling out. It's not all about that all the time. I think we need to be friends with each other, experts in the same field or whatever, and not have walls between us, you know. So if you want to be friendly with people and say, hey, you know, this is my point of view on it, you know, that's kind of like the way I want to do my videos, you know, in this playlist that I'll have this in, not, you know, I'll put this in several playlists, so it's going to be called, this is the first one, What I Think. That's the playlist that I'm talking about that, you know, this video will be in. So if you wanna like be friendly with me and say, hey, this is what I think, you know, that's fine. That's what I do. But because I don't think we need to call each other out, put walls up between us, and say, you know, we can't be friends or whatever. Because I think that's healthy to be friends with, obviously. I think it's important. I can think it's extremely important to do. And if you're not an expert in some field that you are in someone else's. I don't think you need to call yourself fans or, you know, unequal to together make it a thing. You know, I think you can be friends with people and own yourself, you know. Like an actor of 20 years or 1 year or whatever, I don't think they need to be a fan with each other, you know. I think they're in the same field, so they need to be friends or whatever if they want to be. I don't think people in different fields can't be friends either. So that's my problem with the word fan and everything. I think it gets to be too much an asshole thing, and like it creates situations where you're just using excuses to relate to people, not really relating to people then, and just not doing your job of being a fellow person of planet, you know, just fellow human being and being loving to people, you know. We're all missing from a person. So I think we all need to be equal with each other and get along with each other. I don't think we need to be this asshole factor. You're my fan because you like my career. You know, if it's your preference to call yourself a fan of someone, go ahead. I don't give a fuck. But I don't promote calling people fans, but I can be a hypocrite. So and I earned that about the acting stage like kind of my career. But I won't do that in with my clients and my, you know, other part of this that I'm making this video about, you know, because I think that's too dangerous to believe that people are your fans, you know, in this spiritual field, because that's not what this is about. This is about figuring out how to be a person and heal a human being. You can't kill your ego if you're like having an ego, you know. It's just simple as that. And it doesn't get more simple than that, you know. So I think for me to get off the high horse and quit all these things can it should be watching some videos like I have because I'm an expert in the field that she's an expert in, and that's not cool to have someone not an expert but calling a fan instead of yours or saying watch your videos or, you know, whatever. Um, I'm just gonna add this Dr. John May is a psychological doctor or something. I don't know what all degrees he has, but I'm subscribed to his channel on YouTube. That's just what it's called. His name, I think. Um, so I like a lot of his material because he kind of just thinks the same way about the whole compassion and like following people or watching people's videos or, you know, interacting with people, all those kind of topics. And I think Teal Swan could use a good amount of watching some videos of mine or someone else's where, you know, just that kind of interaction with people from going on because asshole, you're my fan in the past, you know, because you're subscribed to my channel, you know. it just takes away from relating to people. If you or I call them a fan and can't relate to them, um, because like I said, if I'm not friends with you guys, I won't be. If you want to be friends with me, you're not going to be fight. That's all there is to it. It's short. Because like a session called turns out in a professional, healthy way, if they're doing and saying something that makes them not be, or if they're moving down the wrong bunny trail, thinking or talking something way about life of people or whatever, and so they're not fans, they're not friends. It's fine. But what I was saying about Dr. John is in one video just recently he said something about we're not experts, we're not good at our job very much, or we're not always, or not experts. He might be an expert, but he didn't say the word expert. He said something about we're not always good at our job, which is meaning those things videos about himself or doctors or psychologists or something. And I think some of that is not right to say because I get it. And so Swan said it, and I get it, but I think you need to own yourself and be an expert in the field that you're in if you are one. And I think he is not someone that I trust in material enough that show on social media. And I appreciate it, but that's the thing. He said that something about we're not always good at what we do. So you know I think the people that fall out, people like myself and this one, and want to be in the hate group that I'm not in, of her or whoever else is, I think they need to take a look at what they're saying and stop saying it so much about that we shouldn't be experts in the field that we're in because there's too many things psychologists or doctors and stuff or other people say that like that or others have had like a little bit of advice in their videos with other people reporting them about what they're experiencing about, like uh, how to relate to people. They don't really get, not Dr. Grande, so not how to relate to people, but like another lady. I actually like her a lot. She seems like a good person, but a video clip of hers this I don't see YouTube channel uh, media on YouTube interviewing her. She said something about how to relate to people. It's not best advice to give scientists or psychologists or whatever, a doctor. I think that's where me and Teal and other people come in. We are experts in the field that we're in. So I think it's dangerous for people to be calling out people like her and me that don't need licenses for what we do because I think we can give a lot of insight to doctors and psychologists about how to relate to people properly because there's too much of not relating properly that saying too many things like maybe like saying I don't know how to say it. Dr. Garland made a video about her. I think his video was properly calling her out, which I think is how I want to make my videos about children and other people. Katie welcoming some conflict or some her video is something about the way to not relate to what she did was not proper. I mean, and the actual the person I was talking about was not her, the lady that I actually like. I think she seemed like a bit different from Katie, not the same person, but there's tons of people that say such things to you ever watch that video or those videos on her, on his channel or wherever. You know, I think that's where me and other people like Swan come in because there are good, you know, parts of Phil's material that is helpful and right and all that stuff. But think that's where our expertise comes in to help people like Katie and the other lady and other people know actually how to relate to people because I think it's um, really can be dangerous to be saying those kind of things that Katie and other people say, the other lady. Um, because I think it can do damage to clients if you're not relating them properly as a psychologist or a doctor, and that's where we come in. So I think people need to quit calling people out on not having a license because there is I don't even know who all does or doesn't other channels. I have never mentioned their names on my videos so far or in this one, but I just came across a video or two recently of I don't know who that did that, and I'm like, that's not okay to do. You don't know what you're talking about when you're calling people out for doing having the careers that we have that we're actually experts in. I think it's good to own yourself and be an expert in the field that you're an expert in, and not be afraid of that being in the public. So I think people need to take a look at how they're actually relating to people and let people own themselves instead of saying, no, I can't be an expert because you can be. I think each person needs to be an expert in what they're an expert in and own that and let people see that about themselves, and need to appreciate that about each other instead of calling each other fans and stuff because it's just not cool. So when Dr. Grande said that, I'm like, yeah, that's why you're allowed to own yourself, being an expert in the field that you're in. You don't need to spend money on being an expert in whatever field you're an expert in. And I don't know who else says it or doesn't. I'm not talking about anyone in this video about that. It's just that that does go around, you know, that subject does. So I think people need to let people own themselves and be experts in whatever they're experts in, you know. So anyway, that's all for this video for now. If I want to add to this video, I'll make another one. Um, and like I said, make a proper hate comments video or opinions or whatever sometime soon. So anyway, if you have questions or comments or hate comments or love comments, feel free to leave them. And